I do think that it's worth mentioning the chapters that really hit us because the titles are so great. The Well, Finding What Inspires You and Cling to It for Dear Life. Breathe in, baby, breathe in. Life is not a series of crises to be endured. Life is to be enjoyed. What are vegetables? Nourish yourself. Or clonazepam communion. Use the tools you need.
I'm a bather. It's a thing. Find a ritual to honor your body. Lady Harem. Find your family. And I think this just scoots right into what we do here at Drinks with the Girls. I have the best bras.
Nobody cares at all. In regards to everything, choose. I thought this said paranoia. No, choose pro-noia.
This is not the Oregon Trail. There shall be no settling. Find yourself a fuck yeah lover.
And I'm telling you, she's such a good writer. I just love it.
Such a good writer. And every woman can look at that and be like, okay. Welcome to Drinks with the Girls. Conversations for women over 40 around connection, change, and the power of female friendship. Living well with stories to tell. I'm Karen, and this is Lisa.
We are moms and solopreneurs stepping into our own, diving into real conversations about things that matter to women in midlife.
We're here to spill the tea on everything that affects women in their 40s and beyond. Topics like loss and grief, changing relationships, launching kids, menopause, and reinventing ourselves in midlife. We are here to tackle it all.
Connect with us through a blend of our lived experiences, our friendship, the memory of our moms, plus a collection of real stories, honest conversations, and engaging interviews that will make women over 40 feel seen and remind them that they're not alone on this journey called life. Let's go.
Welcome back to another episode of Drinks with the Girls. We're so happy you're here. We are going to be doing one of our book reviews today. We are going to be diving into the book Buy Yourself the Fucking Lilies by Tara Schuster. But before we get going, we're going to let you know what we're drinking. And today I am boring AF with just my sippy cup of water and lemon.
Okay.
What are you drinking?
That's bougie compared to me because I'm drinking ice water.
We're both on the hydration train. I love it.
Yes. So we are both on the hydration train. Good for us.
Today we want to talk about this book, Buy Yourself the Fucking Lilies, because we're not going to wait for anyone else to buy them for us.
So, full disclosure, this has been on the docket for, over 6 months now, at least. And Karen recommended it to me. And it took me a while to get through it. Now, here's the thing, though. It wasn't that I didn't enjoy it because I loved it. Right? It's that. So this is what it looks like. Right? It was that it was surprisingly dense. Right? So just a bit about the author. So she used to work on the show Key and Peele. If any of you guys are Comedy Central fans, like she did a lot of stuff in Hollywood. She's a published writer. So it is written extremely well. And she is freaking hilarious. Like we'll get into that. Right? So it is an easy read in that it's really entertaining, and she just does such a great job and just pokes fun at things, and it's wonderful. But the issue is, it is so dense. It is so full of stuff. So, look at the flags,
it's pretty
people.
Meaty. It's meaty.
That's why it took me so long. And so we'd be like, okay, we're going to record it. Okay, I'll finish it. And then I'd be like 3 times. We got to move it. I can't get through it because I was really just so into all the stuff that she talked about. So this is also a roundabout way of saying we're not going to be able to get into everything on this episode because there's just so much stuff. Much like the recent episode that we did in our decluttering series, she gives you some fantastic strategies and different kinds of things. And I believe she's in her 30s, I want to say. So she talks about why she wrote the book and why she started doing those things. She had a rough childhood in a lot of ways and really toxic. And the idea behind when she started to do this was that she wanted to reparent herself. She got to the point where she was like, I don't care if my childhood was crap or if it wasn't what I wanted. I can still reparent myself and still turn myself into a good human being. And she talks about the moment it hit her was when she was drunk dialing her therapist and had fallen asleep like in her own vomit. And so she just talks about, she woke up and was like, I've had enough. I've officially hit the wall. And so then she starts going on this journey. And the whole buy yourself the fucking lilies refers to this idea that she basically elaborates on it. Like, stop waiting for someone to rescue you. Stop waiting for someone to buy you flowers. If you want to buy yourself fucking lilies, go to Trader Joe's and fucking buy them. You know? And so it's the book kind of starts out from there. So I don't know where we want to dive in and start because there's a lot, but.
Well, and I don't want that description to scare you away, listeners.
And Lisa.
No, you're right. It is meaty. Like there is so much stuff in here, but she does write it in such a fun and funny way. Yeah. And the chapters are short, so you could literally only read a few chapters and 100%. And walk away with something. Like it's not like you have to read it from beginning to end. It honestly, she wrote it in I think like 2020, and I've had it for several years. And yeah, I've just scribbled it all up. It's so good. It reminds me a lot of, and I can't remember the name, Jen Sincero's
oh yeah,
you're a badass, how to stop doubting yourself.
Yes.
It's similar to that because it's fun, funny, easy to read, but you walk away like you've literally been to therapy. You walk away with tools and with things and with,
very practical.
Very practical. Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, the premise is, and Miley Cyrus has told us the same thing. I can buy myself flowers. And it's like we're going to stop waiting for people to bring us joy and delight. We're going to bring the fucking joy and delight to ourselves, for ourselves. So when's the last time you bought yourself flowers, by the way?
Well, I have a little bit of cheat for that because I have a flower garden. And I, in the summertime, go through and cut myself a bouquet or even two on the regular. And I have been traveling, so I haven't done it, but that reminds me I need to go through the garden and cut a bunch. But definitely in the wintertime when I don't have that, I have to consciously think about like doing stuff like that for sure.
Yeah. I used to be really good at that, but now that I get my groceries delivered, because I would just grab some at the market, but now I get my groceries delivered. So I need to make more of an effort to get myself flowers. And I do have flowers in my garden too, but sometimes they come with little bugs. So it's more of an effort. The thing that I love about the book, she breaks it down into like 3 separate themes: the mind rituals, the body rituals, and the relationship rituals. So those are kind of just like the themes of the book. And then the themes are broken up into different small chapters. But let's talk about that idea of reparenting ourselves and why we need to do this. This is something that like when I was getting my training I thought I wanted to be a marriage and family therapist. This was a big thing, parenting your inner child or reparenting, because truth be told, nobody had a perfect childhood. And even if you did have a quote unquote perfect childhood, even if your childhood was good, there's still things that have happened or things that, you went through or ways that your parents were or whatever that affected you and affected how you think, what you do, how you feel about yourself. Because guess what? Our parents are human. Yeah. And so, yeah, I love the idea of kind of taking ownership. It's like we're taking control of our own lives, our own personal growth, and we're reparenting ourselves. We're filling in those holes that were left from the way that we were parented. What do you think?
No, I agree. And, I've been talking about this lately, this kick I'm on with my therapist about healing my boundary issues and not realizing that I really had a bunch of them. And I had this kind of lightning bolt moment the other day. And I was realizing, holy shit, that's why my relationships were always such a mess and why dating was such a whole catastrophe for me, because I had no fucking boundaries. And I looked around and the model for me was my mom running around and assuaging my dad's moods and like smoothing everything over 24/7. So no wonder I was like being ridiculous with my boundaries. No wonder I like would scare people off, because I couldn't figure out where I stopped and the other person began. It really was about just not respecting myself in a lot of ways. And I had to learn that like I was a real person and I didn't have to like chameleon myself to fit a relationship or whatever that was. And honestly, if I'm being honest with myself, that didn't necessarily change when I got married. That changed when I decided that I was done doing that. And here I am, I've told the story, right? When I found the new therapist, I was like, oh yeah, I'm pretty good. Like, I've done a lot of my stuff. I just need some space for me. And then this boundaries thing came up and just smacked me in the head. And it was like, are you friggin' kidding me? I have to wait till age 50 frickin' 6 to realize this? And I was just like, God damn it. Why didn't I figure this out in my 20s? Like, what the heck, right? So,
but celebrating you for figuring it out, not going your whole life.
Thank you.
Because guess what? A lot of people go through their whole lives never looking at stuff like this.
Yeah. And I think that's what kind of the theme is with her. She's just like, nope, I can figure out how to do this. So the book is really, it's not necessarily chronological, but it takes you through this period in her life when she was like, all right, I got to figure this out, and like what she did. So, no surprise, what she starts out with is journaling. And the chapter is entitled, Writing It Down Saved My Life, Connect to Your Innermost Self.
I think that's such a perfect way to describe journaling.
Yeah. Yeah. And she has some really good prompts in there. And, the idea of, like I just said, getting past old trauma and really like looking it in the face and figuring out, like we said in the other episode, like what the head trash is and why you're doing it. And just really starting there and taking a hard look at why you react to things the way you do. Is that how you want to react to them?
Yeah. And it goes back to that idea of reparenting yourself, because first of all, you have to look at the wounds that you have. And even if we didn't have big T traumas in our childhood, like in my growing up, I learned that conflict was bad. So I did not learn how to use my voice, how to have a disagreement with somebody, how to speak up if I had a contrary opinion to somebody. So it could be little things like not feeling seen or heard or validated. And then, more like action things like not having boundaries, like you talked about, Lisa, or not knowing how to like emotionally regulate ourselves, not having self-trust. And so by journaling, you really just give yourself an opportunity to get to know yourself. Like, who are you? Who am I? Why do I have these behaviors and patterns that really aren't serving me? They served me in the past, but they're definitely not serving me now, because in midlife, we bump up against some big shit, empty nesting, changing careers, getting a divorce, caregiving children and parents at the same time. Like, there's just so many things that really bring up our faulty ways of kind of moving through life. Right. Exactly. Yeah. So writing it down and just getting curious about it is like life-saving.
So a little like pull the curtain here. One of the processes we use when we construct our episodes is we like get a Google Doc, and Karen usually starts and throws stuff in and I kind of contribute. So that's why we did this one. And what was interesting is the way Karen started to organize it, which I thought was great, is she would just throw a chapter in there and put an idea of something that resonated in that chapter. So it was really interesting for me because I went in afterwards and did it and plugged mine in, and there were patterns, right? Some of the chapters we both were like, oh yes, do. And some of the chapters resonated more with me than it did with her. So we'll kind of go through them as we talk about that. So one of the chapters that we had a lot of inspiration from was one called, If I Don't Take Monday Nights Off, We'll Have a Murder-Suicide Situation. Make time for you. So again, the way she writes is hysterical. But she talks about this idea of literally prioritizing yourself in terms of, she sets up Monday nights for herself and she doesn't make plans on Monday nights. That's her time to like reboot. And this idea that one of the reasons that we all, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think a lot of women do the replaying of the highlight reel at night that isn't the highlight reel. It's all the shit that you didn't get done, right? And not giving yourself credit for what you have gotten done, right? It's like that book, The Gap and the Gain. Like, don't live in the gap, live in the gain. And the reason that she's saying we end up in that trap is because we're not making frickin' time for ourselves. And the bullshit excuse we use about being busy all the time, right? Like we're so important, we're so busy. No, we're friggin' preoccupied and distracted.
Yeah. I am obsessed with women choosing themselves. We talk a lot about that in my Facebook group, the Reclamation Lounge, because for me, choosing ourselves, that is the ultimate self-help practice that we can, learn how to do and learn how to feel comfortable doing, that is going to literally impact our lives. And I think, that's kind of what she's talking about. And by the way, choosing yourself doesn't have to mean getting a divorce or leaving a job or, just this big, huge, life-changing thing. It definitely could mean that, but it's those little tiny choices that we make every day. It's like ordering the French fries and not feeling fucking guilty about it, or instead of doing a chore, go outside and take a walk in the sunshine, instead of being like, oh my God, I have so much to do, I wish I could be outside, go outside. Right? Yeah. This is for me. It's like just close the laptop. Let 4 hours uninterrupted content creation be enough. Close the laptop, step away from the laptop, right? Or else I'm going to burn out. So it's just these little ways that we can choose ourselves every day, I think, that have a pretty big impact as well as the big ones.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes from that chapter, she talks about like everybody's, I have so much on my plate, so much on my plate. And she says, you don't have more on your plate than fucking Gandhi. Okay?
Right.
Like, I love that. I was like, yep, absolutely.
Hey there, I'm Lisa Corachella McDowell, your midlife Pacific Northwest princess, here to guide you in the art of next leveling your life. I'm passionate about women's health and wellness in midlife, especially for moms parenting kids with unique needs like I do. I truly believe we can learn, grow, advocate, and care for the planet while taking care of ourselves and our families. And I'd love to help you do the same. And I'm beyond excited to tell you about my membership for maxed out mamas just like me, the Empowered Parent Collective. It's a space for parents to confidently advocate for their kids, build inclusive communities, educate themselves, and find balance and support along the way. To find out more about the Empowered Parent Collective, my classes, wellness offerings, parenting tips, advocacy resources, and exclusive Drinks with the Girls goodies, head to nextlevellifewithlisa.com. Let's survive and thrive in the messy middle together.
And full transparency, I read this book, like I said, a couple years ago. And so I've just been revisiting it. But I love that like different things, like certain things struck you and certain things struck me.
Like I said, this is pretty dense. So we won't hit everything, but I do think that it's worth mentioning the chapters that really hit us because the titles are so great. So like one of the chapters is called The Well, Finding What Inspires You and Cling to It for Dear Life. So putting that first, like I love to travel. That's something that's really important to me. And then she talks about in that chapter, she has literally printed a permission slip and it's called a permission slip to light up your soul with inspiration. Right? We talk about the permission slip all the damn time. So I love the way that she's like put literally this permission slip in there that you fill out. And you're like, no, you have permission to do that. Right? And she says, you're building toward a shinier, more glorious and bountiful life. And it's your obligation to keep yourself refreshed and happy to feed your well. It's like, damn straight.
Yeah, like literally this. And I love that she says, it's your obligation. Like it's our obligation. Nobody's coming to save us.
Yeah.
Right? It's our obligation to create a more glorious and bountiful life. And by the way, we deserve it. And I think it just shows you how important this idea of permission is. I went to a personal growth workshop with Martha Beck and Elizabeth Gilbert and a couple other authors a while back. And Elizabeth Gilbert did the same thing. And she had us write a permission slip. It was directed to you wrote it to the principal, and you are just talking about all the things that the principal is going to give you permission for in your life. But guess what? You are the freaking principal. You are the one that gets to give yourself permission because nobody is going to give it for us.
Yeah. You are the principal person in your life. Hello.
Yes.
Right.
100%.
And one of the other chapter titles that reminds me of this, she said, breathe in, baby, breathe in. I love this. This is so true. And I feel like this sometimes when I get on the damn hamster wheel. Life is not a series of crises to be endured. Life is to be enjoyed. And sometimes I really just have to friggin' remind myself of that. And it's just like, no. You should not be highly elevated and escalated and just triggered 24/7. That is not the normal way to function.
And I think also it's the idea of being present in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is your life happening to you? Are you choosing things in your life, or are you just on autopilot? Like we've talked about before on this podcast. Like, you have to be present in your life and actively choose the things that you're signing up for.
Yeah. Again, there's a lot of really great quotes and different kinds of things she says, but there's a lot of really practical stuff, right? She talks about, like, you know, when you wake up in the morning, treat yourself like the queen you are, right? Like, there's a line about, like, you are a queen, you are a motherfucking goddess, right? It reminds me of that meme that says, you are a divine sorcerer of motherfucking light, right? So just this idea that, like, there are some non-negotiables that you need to put in, even just your morning to do, to set yourself up for the day, that are important, right? Like, we joke about my stupid journal issues, like ad infinitum. But for me, it's this idea of, I just go into mode. Like, I just flip my laptop up, have my tea, and go. And it's like, Lisa, you know, like, you have 15 minutes to do something for yourself. Like, nobody's going to die, okay?
Yes. And I think, honestly, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because having a morning routine, like how you start your day, it sets you up for how your day is going to go. And it's a mindset thing. And I know it sounds, you know, a little woo woo, but I have seen it work in myself, and I have seen it work with my clients. And and you know, like you said, even 15 minutes, and it doesn't have to be journaling. I mean, you do not like journaling. So I would say, don't journal. I would say find something else that works for you, but start your day getting into your mindset of, you know, how you want to kind of go through your day, right? So you can start feeling positive and feeling good about yourself and feeling like, I got this. I am a fucking queen. You know, and this just makes me think of Madonna, this chapter, because it's like, is Madonna going to sacrifice her little self rituals, or is Madonna not going to, you know, pump herself up in the morning? You know, is Madonna not going to put on the red lipstick and the cute boosty? No, Madonna's going to freaking do it, because she's a freaking queen, and so are we. So just think about Madonna.
Okay, for the record, it's not that I hate journaling. I want to disabuse everyone of that notice. I actually like journaling. It's the idea of the going to the gym thing. Yes, it's the idea of the going to the gym thing, right? Like, when you're working out, you're good. It's that process of, like, making yourself do it. That's the piece that I find so difficult. It's not that I don't like journaling.
Oh, the discipline part?
Yeah, but it's not even that. Like, it's not that I'm like, oh, I forgot, right? And I don't have the discipline to remember. I remember. It's just the talking myself into it part, and being like, oh, I don't want to open myself. Like, again, it's the bullshit head trash I tell myself. But if I can get myself to do it, I do enjoy it. It is valuable for me. But
yeah,
getting past that piece I know it's just difficult for me. So.
And you know I love you, and I'm teasing you, and I know you know that, but I want to make sure the listeners know that I'm not like
now that we've established all that.
Right.
The other thing, the next thing I want to talk about is it's an episode on just, like, basically the idea of you wouldn't treat others the way you treat yourself, kind of thing, right? But what I like about this chapter is she talks about come up with rituals, things, stuff you like to eat, stuff you like to do, whatever, that are, like, at the ready. So she says, the second I feel a hurt, I take a loving action, and I think, you know, like, she eats an apple. This apple is for you. Takes a bath. Like, she loves taking a bath. This bath is to warm you. You are eating this delicious sushi because you deserve it, right? And it's intentional AF. So you have to be intentional about that, right? And I like this idea of having a bank of, like, self-pleasure, right? Karen always does that with her clients. She makes them come up with something like 50 things that she can do for pleasure. And, you know, I lost it when she told me that, just like all our other clients do, because we have a hard time doing that. But have these ideas that you can go to when the world beats you down, so you can pick yourself right back up again.
Guess what I have?
What?
I have it's a one-pager of little micro tiny pleasures that you can do. I'm trying to remember how many are on there. Not 50. It's tiny. It's like maybe 10 or 15, but we can put those in the show notes. Listeners, you can grab it for free. When you want when you need something like this, you're like, well, I don't know what to do. Just there it is. There's your list, and do something on the list and make yourself feel good, because it's like self-pleasure. You're telling yourself you're worthy. You're worthy of feeling good. You're celebrating yourself. You're loving yourself. You're reparenting yourself, literally. And it's important. It's valuable.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the reasons I redid my office and painted it this beautiful, like Caribbean tealy blue, right? Because I wanted this place in my office to be a place of sanctuary for me, right? Like I got my comfy blanket here. I have my little footrest, right? I have all this stuff that gives me pleasure, because I know sometimes I need that support when I'm working and doing things to like really get through it. She also talks about the office, right? And she talks about her office. She says, my office is a sacred sanctuary. Please do not come in and take up space. She talks about all these things that she does, which is really, really cool. Like, for example, she puts her goals for the week or the month on sticky notes, right? And then she has another thing. She writes, yay, I fucking did it, when she did the goal. So she can always keep these in front of her. Like, I love the ideas she has.
Yeah, and that idea of your office being a sacred space, like a sanctuary for you. You and I both work from home. Well, you run your business from home, so you need a home office. And when I first started, before my business really got going, I started blogging, and I didn't have my own space in my old home, and it was kind of revolutionary for me to kind of take over our guest bedroom and make that my office, giving myself, and that's wild to even say that, but it's like, look, I want to prove to myself, and I want to prove to my ex-husband that I'm serious. This is serious. And also I want my own space that feels good. It feels like me. When I go in there, I can get into flow, and I feel creative, and I feel nurtured. Right. So I think that's super important. And you don't even need a business to have a sacred space that's yours in your home. I feel like, think about it. You don't, especially if you're married, if you have kids, where is your space? Like, do you have a room that's all yours, or even like a corner of a room?
And I just feel like that's such a metaphor for how we treat ourselves, right? Like this idea that you have to have a guest bedroom, right? And then there's no room for your office. So basically what we're saying is literally every other person on the planet is more important to have a space in our home 24/7 than us. Because where would they sleep? I mean, I can't have an office. Like, people have a place to sleep. There are hotels, like you can't have a pull-out couch. There are air beds. Like, there's all of these different options. And it's funny because I thought about that a lot when we were buying our house. Like, oh, we need to have a guest bedroom. Like, where do the guests go? Like, who fucking cares? Like, why do we need to devote a permanent part of our house to hosting people at the expense of our own space? I mean, it's ludicrous when you think about it.
It kind of is. I mean, because and how many times do you have guests?
Exactly.
Not that often. Right. And so, you're like, I'm going to suffer every day of the year because we might have a guest 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, come on, you guys. Like, some of these titles are fantastic in and of themselves. Like, what are vegetables? Nourish yourself. Or clonazepam communion. Use the tools you need. Like, it's a chapter about like how she kind of fought taking meds, right? Again, use the tools you need. Like, just simple shit like that.
And I love the one, I'm a bather. I'm a bather. It's a thing. Find a ritual to honor your body. And this is in the theme of the book, where she really, same with the vegetables, because she used to eat crap. So it's like, she just talks about taking care of her body and honoring her body. And water is my go-to, like, nervous system regulator. Like, I don't care if it's a bath, a pool, an ocean, a lake, whatever. So it really resonated with me. And I think this is when she went to that. Did she go to Japan? I have to look it back up. But I think she went with a friend to the bathhouse in Japan, where you have to be buck naked.
Yeah. Yep. She was freaking out about that.
Freaking out because she, like most women, spent her life being ashamed of her body, not feeling comfortable with her body, not feeling comfortable looking at her body. certainly not being naked in front of other people. And so it's, I don't want to spoil it, but it's just this whole like full circle moment for her. I really responded to that. And, like how radical is it to take a bath like at 3 p.m. on a Tuesday? Like not only is it radical because you're choosing yourself at 3 p.m. on a Tuesday when you probably have a big, huge to-do list, but also you get to be a mermaid. You get to just be in the water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Both my daughter and I are water gals, and I have a lot of feelings about, like Karen moving away from the beach and I'm glad I live where I live, but definitely there's that pull of, just natural water.
My name is Karen Shatafian, and I am a shameless coffee addict and empowerment coach for women, and my love language is authenticity. My mission is helping women unapologetically design a life they're in love with. Because what the hell are we waiting for? My website, KarenShatafian.com, has all my coaching packages and free offers like my midlife reclamation guide. In it, you'll find tools to help you decide how to create the most inspired and empowered version of yourself and your life. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram talking about ways women can show up for themselves after decades of showing up for everyone else. Join me as we throw off the shackles and live our best freaking lives. See the show notes for all the details. Cheers.
This is one of my favorite quotes. And she says, to have faith in yourself, you must build faith in yourself. And the best way I know how to do that is through physical activity. So for her, she talks about in this chapter, like how she's hiking, right? And ran into Angelica Houston and this whole big story that she does. But what I mostly take from that is like, it's a muscle you need to exercise. Showing up for yourself, believing in yourself, feeling like you matter is not a muscle that most women are born with. Like, you have to exercise that muscle, right? There's a lot of research about girls' sports and how that builds confidence and positive things. There's all sorts of stuff like that. It's just not something, unfortunately, that we are really, not everybody, right? But most women I know that's something that's very difficult for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, that quote is even, she's taking agency over her own life. Like she's deciding, I have to build this faith in myself. I can't wait to feel it. I can't wait for it to show up. I have to build it. I have to do it through, lots of different ways. That's one of the things in this book that I really love. It's just, she's taking charge of her life and how she feels about herself and her life.
Yeah. Another quote I like that's in that similar vein. This is in the relationship part of the book. She says, unconditional love started with me deciding that no matter whether I was successful, no matter what other people thought of me, I would always believe in myself. I was my beloved. Ugh, I get chills. Like, I just freaking love that.
I know. I just got him too. And just think how hard that is. Because you can't just decide, oh, I'm just going to believe in myself. Because we have all these tapes that play in our brain that have been playing for decades. So I think, her making that decision, but also figuring out, okay, how can I actually do this? How can I actually really feel in my bones that I am my beloved?
Yeah.
And not stop waiting for the external validation.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things I really like about this is she takes you on the journey. Like, it isn't like, oh, I went from like drunk dying my therapist and sleeping in my own vomit to, I'm this super enlightened person and blah, 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 blah. Like, she goes through like the ugly places that she had to go through and kind of what she had to do and some of the ways she figured these tools out and the choices she had to make. And it was not an easy process at all. And she doesn't also come across as like, well, I've figured it out, now I'm going to tell you how to do it. It's really just like, I'm going to be transparent about my process, and this is what helped me. I think you need to find your own version of the fucking Lilies, right? Like, that's why I think she titled the book the way she did.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing too. It's like, she doesn't come across like preaching or like pointing her finger. It's like, well, this is what you have to do. She's like, this is what happened for me. This is what worked for me. You figure out your own version of the Lilies. I love that the chapter Lady Harem, find your family. And I think, this just scoots right into what we do here at Drinks with the Girls. Because she says, you'll be looking back on your friendships, your kinships. You'll be thinking about the people you love and who loved you. Your bonds are what give your life meaning. Your relationships give you strength. And I think it takes us to this stage in our life. I mean, she figured it out earlier, but I feel like it took me, 40 years, 50 years to not value my relationships, but realize, and we've talked about this on our friendship episode, it's like not everybody gets to have access to me. Not all these relationships or friendships or, ships are serving me. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she says, don't waste another second on people who don't make your life better. We talked about that. Oh, which episode was it? I'm trying to remember. I can't remember which one, but it was one of the more recent ones. And we talk about if people are bringing you down, if people aren't supporting you, if people aren't your cheerleader, fire them. Like, I think Karen's quote was something like block, unfriend, delete.
Yes. No, it's true. I've recently had a conversation with my daughter about this, my adult daughter. She's 27, in terms of like relationships. And I kind of told her, I said, you're at a great spot in your life because you have the ability moving forward to see red flags. I mean, we don't always see the red flags right away, but it's like the first sign of a red flag, whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship.
See ya.
Dip out. There's no reason to give chances or keep trying or try hard. No, if there's red flags, I'm sorry. You don't have to sign up for the red flags and just wait for things to get better.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, it's like what I'm dealing with my boundary issues and just doing this whole like life scan, as it were. Like, oh my God, like no wonder, right? I had this like compulsion that if the red flags were there, it was almost like it made me turn myself inside out even harder, right? Well, that's what a relationship is giving, giving, giving. Like, no, Lisa, it's give and take. Give and take. Both of those pieces are important, right? And just if things weren't clicking, feeling like it was something that was wrong with me that I had to change, that I had to fix. How about the fact that they're just red flags and this person is not right for you? Like, and it comes from this scarcity thing, right? And I know, a lot of women go through this, but what if I don't meet someone else? Or, but what if this? What if that? Right? And I am here to say that is a real thing. Like, I got married very late, and I would often really despair about that. And it's this idea that it all comes, I think, from this feeling of scarcity. And you don't deserve it. So you have to grab onto the, meh kind of thing, because what if you don't get it at all? And it all comes from this place of, I don't deserve it. I'm going to pick up the crumbs and the scraps and just be grateful for that.
Yeah. And I think that's where we can, again, look to the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce union. Like she waited.
She went through it.
She waited for the love. Exactly. She waited for this kind of a love, like this love that celebrates her, that's not intimidated by her strength and her power. Right. And so I'm just like, yeah. And I'm not a Swiftie per se. Like I could maybe tell you a few songs she sings. But I'm a Taylor Swift fan for sure. But I think, we can all learn from that. And it's like, no, you get to have that kind of love. You get to have the person, that's going to just put you up on the pedestal and treat you like the queen that you are. But yeah, you're going to have to kiss a lot of toes before you get there.
And also just not even relationships, right? I feel like it's a metaphor for everything in life, right?
Yeah.
You can choose. I mean, yeah, sometimes you got to deal with crap that you don't want to, like certain aspects about day jobs and all sorts of stuff, right? Yeah, sometimes you have to suck it up and deal with that kind of stuff. But that's literally, it's not the formula for everything in your life, for God's sakes, right? You don't have to eat the 3-day leftovers if you hate leftovers, okay? You can start cooking less. Like, you're not like, there's, the leftover fairy isn't going to come by and be like, well, you're wasting food, right? I mean, yeah, you might want to think of not like making the entire pot of spaghetti and doubling the recipe. That might be a lesson you need to learn, but Jesus God in heaven,
So where was the chapter where she talked about buying new bras?
Oh
Remember
yeah,
that
I can't remember what it's called, but she talks about like I have beautiful bras.
I have the best bras. And like
Yes.
this is such, I mean, I don't know. Is it just me? I don't think so. But I think this is such a thing for women. Like how long do you keep your unmentionables?
Oh my gosh.
You know, it's like, no, get rid of those things. There's holes in them for God's sake. They're dingy. They're, you know, your bras look gross. Like, no, buy yourself some beautiful bras and think about how you feel when you know, if you have like a cute panty set with your bra matching, like, you know, you just feel good. And so I love that she brought this up. She made a chapter on it because that is like such a small way to just really prioritize your own delight, you know?
Okay. I have a confession to make.
Yes.
I recently got myself some new bras. Most of y'all know that I went through a breast reduction a couple years ago and just hadn't gotten around to it, if that isn't ridiculous enough. But here's the even worse part. I had nursing bras that I was still wearing.
Oh, girl. That you're still wearing?
That I was still wearing. I know.
Okay.
I know.
I am so
know.
proud of you for being so transparent on this podcast. That
Thank you.
I'm speechless.
If y'all aren't watching the YouTube version, like, you know, Karen's rarely at a loss for words. She was just like, what? Yeah,
wow, yeah,
like,
that's surprising.
sweet.
That surprises me.
Yeah. But again,
So we got rid of those, right? We decluttered those, right?
We did, but it's like, my God, I seriously didn't have time to prioritize getting bras that fit me since I was nursing my freaking children who are now teenagers at 15 and 18. Like, what the actual fuck?
Well, and in your defense, bra shopping is not easy.
Ugh, I know.
Because it's hard to find ones that fit right. And then there's the whole, you know, when Victoria's Secret was all that in a bag of chips and trying to go there and feel good about yourself. And, you know, it's, so yeah, you get a pass on that one a little bit.
Thank you. Oh, and hot tip listeners, I have a college buddy that has opened, it's a physical bra boutique, but she also does stuff through, you know, she has an online store, but here's the thing. She does virtual fittings, right? Because I really think that that's part of it. Is like, oh my God, I don't want to like have a stranger measure my boobs and blah, 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 blah. So you can get this virtual bra fitting kit. I think it's like $25. And then she rebates that if you buy bras from her. So I'll put the link in the show notes for that. Shout out to Judy. She's amazing. So I think that's super cool. Here's one that I love. So there's a chapter called, and full disclosure, I thought this was a typo. Like I was like, oh, that's too bad. It's such a great book. It's a typo. Nobody cares at all. In regards to everything, choose. I thought this said paranoia. Literally, I thought it said paranoia till I was like halfway through the chapter. No, what it says is nobody cares at all in regards to everything. Choose pronoia. Pronoia. I'd never heard that word before, and it means the belief that people are secretly plotting for your well-being. It's a state of mind that's the opposite of paranoia.
Okay, quick pause. Have we talked about the Pod Squad lately?
Oh, the Pod Squad. You mean our email list /VIP lounge /digital wine club?
Exactly. So listeners, if you're not on it yet, you're basically making life harder for yourself when it comes to podcasts.
Like trying to scroll for show notes while speed walking on a treadmill. Wait, what was that link again? Oh, no. Grab the side rails.
Or pulling up that book we mentioned while you're in the Starbucks line and then realizing everybody else moved up 3 cars and now you're that woman.
We've all been there. That's why we made the Pod Squad. You'll get new episode alerts every week with direct links. Easy to listen, easy to share.
And show notes straight to your inbox. So when we drop a life-changing product, book, hot tip, or yummy new drink, you're not rummaging through your memory like a woman searching for her reading glasses when they're on top of her head.
It's organized, it's helpful, it's for you, babes.
So join the Pod Squad. The link is in the show notes. Just tap it.
Snacks, sarcasm, solidarity.
And obviously, fighting the patriarchy.
We write at dawn.
That's how messed up I am, right? That I literally was like reading things that weren't there. And you know, but I love that idea. The belief that people are plotting for your well-being, that they want the best for you. Like, Who thinks that, right? We're all out in the world being like, yeah, well, they're going to tear me down. And in our defense, part of that is just living in the patriarchy, right? Like, let's be real. But what if we flipped that on its head? What if we decided that people wanted to wish us well? Like, back to the Taylor and Travis thing, right? People are so genuinely happy for them. They really, really are. And people just going, oh my God, finally some good news. Finally, like, love wins, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple things to say about that. I think that our people should be wanting the best for us. Mm-hmm. Like, our people should be thinking that. Like, they should be wanting us to win. And, if they don't, they're not our people. And then the other thing is, I think we think so much about, like, a lot of times people aren't even thinking about us at all. But in our mind, in our minds, we're thinking, oh my God, they think this about me. They think that about me. And,
we're in middle school again.
Right, exactly. One of my favorite titles in the book was, "This is not the Oregon Trail. There shall be no settling. Find yourself a fuck yeah lover." And
I'm telling you, she's such a good writer. I just love it.
Such a good writer. And every woman can look at that and be like, okay. Like, every chapter, Yep. You know exactly what she's talking about. And I feel very strongly about this. I think everyone deserves a fuck yeah lover.
Agreed.
And I'll just leave it there.
Alrighty,
we don't need to revisit the sex episode.
And back to your thing about, like, people aren't always thinking about you, right? She relates this whole passage about how, she went through this rough patch where her dad almost died. He was in the hospital, and, like, she had her people, and but she also really showed up for herself, and she kind of talks about that. It's a good episode. But she says, and I love this, the way a person treats you has almost nothing to do with you. It's about them and their limitations, right? So not only figuring it out that people aren't always thinking about you, but also realizing that stuff is about them. It's not about you more often than you would ever care to think.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think if we learned that when we were 5 years old, like, how much angst would we save ourselves, And recognizing, the way that they're responding to you has more to do with them than you.
Yeah. And I think that we need to get out of our own head trash to do that. And sometimes that's really, really difficult.
Yeah. And also, she had the chapter on how we treat ourselves. Mm-hmm. Oh, sister, where art thou? You can stop being an asshole.
Yep. No, I think that's the one when she talks about her relationship with her sister and how she consciously, like, figured it out. But honestly, I feel like almost every chapter in this book is about how you treat yourself.
Yeah.
She talks about the frenemy thing. She says, let's see if I can find this. Oh, she says, and this was back a couple chapters ago, but she says, no frenemies allowed, not the kind who live in your brain or the kind you meet in the real world. And she doubles down on that. She talks about that a lot in the book. She breaks the I guess it'd be the fourth wall, or is it third wall? I don't know. One of those walls. And she talks like straight to you, right? Like, she talks about, like, I did this, it's written in the third person. Words are so hard. In the first person a lot. But then she will also, like, straight up talk to you and really position herself as, look, I'm your friend, I'm your ally, like, I'm telling you to do this and pumping you up. And so one of the quotes, and I think it's further along towards the end, she talks about, and I love it. She says, for you, I see something grander. I see a life that you consciously live, that you curate and cultivate and create for yourself. A life in which you are self-aware AF, grateful for the luck that you are here at all. A life in which you love and also let yourself be loved. And not only does that really resonate for me, but also I would really hope that this is the vibe we're throwing down on this podcast, right? Because, like, we are your biggest fans. We are your biggest 100%.
Fans. Yes.
And
we are here for everybody thriving.
Yeah. And if we can play even a small part in that, like, we have done what we were put on this podcasting earth to do.
Yeah. The part I love about that is where the end, where she says, and also let yourself be loved.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because
Mm-hmm.
we are good at loving. Like we're very good at loving and loving all the people, but it's like, and letting yourself be loved. Like just sitting back and just letting it all soak in, letting yourself be loved.
Yeah.
That's powerful for me. Before we wrap up this episode, I think, one thing that I want our listeners to think about is, what is one area of your life that is begging for more beauty, more pleasure, more of what makes you happy? Like just one area. It doesn't have to be the whole thing, but what's one area that's just begging for more?
Yeah. Buy yourself a new bra.
Exactly.
Oh
or buy the fucking lilies or the tulips or the roses
whatever.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And then also, like, what's a daily ritual you're reclaiming? Maybe it's your morning. Maybe you want to get up a little bit early so you can have coffee. That's my favorite thing is before Tony wakes up, I get up, I make my coffee, I have a couple dogs, and I either am journaling or I'm sad to say on my Instagram, but I'm having my hot coffee. I open the door, I listen to the birds outside that are waking up, and it's like that. That's my favorite little ritual, and how simple.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's, all kidding aside, part of the journaling thing for me is I know this is what's going through my head. It's like I wake up and I don't want to get out of the bed, right? Like I love the comfort of being there, but it's also kind of a prison for me, right? Like I've got my laptop there, I can start working, And there's this thing of like, if I go out in the world, that's when all the bad shit's going to happen. That's when the shoe is going to drop. And I really, that is such a thing for me. And I don't have that ritual where I find comfort in getting up and doing stuff. It's all about, no, I want to hold on to the comfort as long as possible. And in my defense, part of that has to do with like, part-time in the year in Oregon, it's rainy and it's cold and it's yucky. Like I always miss Southern California. I miss being able to just go outside like whenever, for sure. That's a huge impact. But I've done things like I bought myself an infrared lamp for this winter, so I have like some good light shining on me. So I'm doing things to make that better. I redid my whole office. I did all these different things, like the shelving behind me. I specifically picked out where that stuff was going to be. So I'm definitely on that journey. But I do think that's definitely an area of my life I could work on to really carve out that space for myself. Because again, like the journaling thing is just a symptom of that. I haven't carved out a place for myself. That's the bottom line.
I want to ask something.
Yes.
Why?
She's worried.
Why?
Okay, now I'm really freaked out.
Sorry. It's interesting to me that you feel like you have, because you said, in my defense, like, why are we apologizing for wanting to be snuggled up, cozy in our bed and relaxed and feeling good? Especially you and women like you who, once your feet hit the ground, you are running at 120 miles per hour. So we are not here for beating ourselves up about what fucking feels good. If getting out of bed and sitting with dogs and, whatever does not feel good, don't do it. Stay in bed 15 minutes longer.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like, yeah, and it is true. It's like as soon as my feet hit the ground, it's on. So it's no wonder why I want to delay that.
For sure.
As long as possible.
For sure. Give yourself permission, girl.
Thank you. All right, I'll write that permission slip. So, speaking of permission slips, that's the thing that I got to work on. What are you all working on? What is the thing you got to write that permission slip for? And go out and get the book. We'll put the link in the show notes. I mean, it's she's got it in paperback.
Paperback.
It's not that. It's like $18, I think. But buy the book. You don't have to read the whole thing at once. Read a couple chapters. Once a week.
You'll definitely get something out of it.
Totally. And you can literally just be like, all right, boom. And I guarantee you're going to be entertained and you're going to learn something and it's going to make you think differently about things. And that's really one of the big reasons why we wanted to review this book. Like this is like our third book review.
Mm-hmm,
and by the way, listeners, please, if there's books you want us to review, we would love to get your recommendations, right? Because there's a few things like Karen will pick one. We're not real deliberate about it. Just like what strikes our fancy. We've got an idea for the next one. But we would love to get your input on those kinds of things. And we try to pick books that we really feel will speak to people. We really don't, it's not that we don't recommend fiction, but that's not really, I feel like, kind of the role of the podcast. So it's really nonfiction. I mean, I suppose we could pick a fiction book. So if you guys have an idea for that, let us know.
Well, and I think our goal has always been in the books that we've chosen so far is we want you to get something out of it that can better your life. Like we want you to be able to take at least one little thing from the book and apply it and have it help. And I mean, not that fiction you can't but I feel like fiction it's fun and it's kind of escape and that's good too. But I want to issue a challenge to our listeners. I want to issue a challenge. Yeah, here it comes. So what is one way that you can choose yourself this week? And extra credit if it's a little rebellious, right? Like maybe ordering dessert first or this is a big one for me, saying no without like a 5-minute explanation of why, rationalizing why I'm saying no.
Because no is a full sentence, as our episode says.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Maybe it's ignoring a chore and picking up a fiction book so you can't escape for 20 minutes, right? So just think of one thing that you can do this week to choose yourself and make it a little rebellious.
Absolutely. So I hope you guys have gotten a lot out of this episode. I'm so glad we were able to do it. And again, like I enjoyed it so much. I think that's why it took me so long to kind of get to this point where I feel like I could speak on it. But yeah, this is not a hard read at all. You guys will really, really enjoy it. So go grab it. Tara, call us. Be a guest on the podcast.
That's right.
Love you.
So go be a little self-indulgent. Say yes to yourself. And if anybody has anything to say about it, just tell them you're out buying the fucking lilies.
You know where they can go. Okay, housekeeping. Subscribe to the Pod Squad. Please, 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 please. It's our email list. You get all sorts of benefits from it. None of the garbage. We're not spamming. Please, please, please. The link's in the show notes. Subscribe. You get the weekly episodes. It makes it easy to share it with people. You'll get a copy of our 30-day community building challenge. All the good things. It will do us a massive favor because it's helping us build towards Drinks with the Girls 2.0. So please, please, please do that. Anything?
And it's a direct link to us. If you have feedback, questions, comments, future episodes you want, things you're struggling with, things you're celebrating, we want to hear it all. Like, share, give us a 5-star review, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Cheers.